Welcome to another episode of People and Management, and I'm Sally Foley-Lewis, and I'm here with an amazing financial guru. His name is Chinmay Ananda, and what I love about what Chinmay brings is financial education. And this is one of the things that I think I needed desperately when I first took on a role in management, because there was an assumption that when you step into management, all of a sudden you know something about budgets, you know something about the procurement process, you know something about how to make the finances work within your team or department. And no one was there to tell me about it, so I had to go find that information, and I struggled through that. And sometimes not so well, but that's a good lesson to learn. And so this is why Chinmay is on the call with me today to really unpack how important financial education is. So welcome, Chinmay, and I'm glad you're with me.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Oh, thank you. Now I'm going to read out your fantastic bio so people know that you are the expert. So, Chinmay Ananda is a financial educator and pricing strategist at Finance Academy Australia. His mission is to help people in business to make more money than they spend. I like that. He is the proud owner of 6 failed businesses. He's proud to have failed so many businesses as it spurred him to find out the reasons why. Researching hundreds of businesses and understanding what caused them to fail, he soon launched Finance Academy. Over the past years, Chinmay has trained and consulted hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of business owners, non-financial managers, pick me, in corporate, government and family businesses to help them feel empowered to make profitable decisions based on facts and not mere assumptions. Increasing financial literacy is at the cornerstone of what he does. He's known for the research on hundreds of failed businesses to discover 2 common finance mistakes made in business, which he has presented to the Australian Taxation Office, Certified Practicing Accountants, and the Institute of Certified Bookkeepers and Business Schools and various industry associations and councils. I think we know that when we're talking to you, you know what you're talking about. So, thank you.
Thank you, Sally. I can safely say yes to an extent. I know what I'm talking about.
And I just before we go into the first question, which is always about why should we have financial education, but I do want to highlight this point about how, you've got these failed businesses under your belt, and how that's, some people might look at that and go, well, really? That's something to brag about? But I think I'm with you on this. You've done it tough. You've done it the hard way, and you've learnt, you've got the scars to prove you've come through. So what's your insight on that as well?
In fact, when I initially started, even I was not very sure whether I should be telling people that I failed in business. And this is when one of my mentors, who helps larger corporates, and his expertise is to find top CEOs into recruitment. So he said, don't just come to me with medals on your chest. Also show me scars on your back, because I want to know what you did when nothing went according to plan. And on top of that, have you made an attempt to introspect and understand what went wrong? Fortunately, even I wasn't sure whether I was doing what I was doing was right. Again, I was in my mid-20s, and that's the age where we know everything. Everything. And then on top of that, I had masters in business, so I've got MBA next to my name. But long story short, after failing,
we're twins. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we're twins, because I'm the same. I knew everything when I was 20, and I have an MBA, so I'm with you. Sorry, go on.
Good. It's all good. Coming back to what I was saying, after I failed in 6 businesses, I did something wise, which was asking for help. And that is when my first business mentor, who analyzed what all I did, said, Chinmay, do yourself a favor, educate yourself on business finance, because finance is the root of how business makes money, and the language of business is numbers, and you do not know how to speak that language. And then he also said something very interesting. Again, I knew everything, right? So I was trying to defend and say what I did was right and how the market was wrong and things like that. And I told him, see, I did everything, all this planning, business plan, everything, all the reports, but everything went wrong in the end. And he said, Chinmay, always remember, nothing goes wrong in the end. Everything goes wrong in the very beginning.
Oh.
That was very insightful.
That's really interesting. So let's move that into, well, why should we have this financial education? And that's the core underpinning question, really, isn't it? So, yeah.
In fact, this is one of the questions that most of the people who don't have finance or accounting background, they ask. And this is something even I assume, like, I was a civil engineer in my previous life, then I did masters in business. And when I started my business, I've got my bookkeeper, my accountant, and other financial experts whom I can use as consultants. So why should I be bothered about numbers? Now, Sally, let us take a step back. Now, today, we have decided that we are going to have this Skype call, the podcast. And we decided it's going to be at 11 o'clock on this particular day. Date, time, numbers. Now, in the afternoon, I have a meeting at 2 o'clock in the other side of the town. Of course, I'll be entering the address on Google Maps. Yeah. What are the 2 things that I'm looking for? How far it is and how much time it's going to take me to reach there.
Yeah.
Last month, France elected their president. How did they go about electing their president? Number of votes. I'm in Melbourne, which is called as the most livable city. But still, before I step out of the house, I have to carry a sunscreen and an umbrella all the time. And I have to look for the forecast.
Yes.
What am I looking for? Numbers. The point I'm trying to make here is, if we carefully observe, almost every decision that we make in our life is directly or indirectly related to numbers. Sports, numbers. Engineering, numbers. Even the food we eat. Someone has calculated how many proteins and vitamins and carbohydrates are there in that, and accordingly we know what's healthy and what's not. So, again, repeating what I just said, if we carefully observe, almost every decision that we make is directly or indirectly related to numbers. Simply because numbers helps us to be more decisive, numbers helps us to be more accurate, and numbers don't lie. But what surprises me is, of course, people don't know what they don't know. Even I was in that zone when I started. Why is that when it comes to business, when we are about to make a decision, why is that we shy away from numbers and we are busy making decision based on assumption?
Oh, can I just quickly ask you a question then? Because off air, you and I have chatted about this, and you've suggested don't necessarily use the word money because it labels you and people perceive you as it's doing something different. But it just made me think: does money come with it a more emotional hot button, as opposed to if we think of it as just the numbers?
Okay. Let's kind of again step back and understand, because you used a critical word, which is perception. Now, are you ready to have some fun?
Yes, let's go for it.
Yeah. Now, that's the reason even I titled my book "Fun: Fundamentals of Financial Statements." Now, I used to play this game, which is called as association game, with my clients when I initially started my business 4 years back. What happens is very simple. I will say a word or name of a person, and you'll have to tell me what comes to your mind first.
Okay.
Simple?
I think so.
Okay. The first word or name, Albert Einstein.
E equals MC squared.
Okay. Dog.
Cat.
Family.
Big.
Beach.
Sand.
Las Vegas.
Oh, gambling.
Warren Buffett.
Money.
Finance and accounting.
Maths.
There you go. See, this is the perception that people have when they hear the words finance and accounting. So instead of deep diving into all this terminology and jargon, which I try to shy away, I mean, of course, I can overwhelm people and you and your listeners by using all the jargon: top line, bottom line, net profit, operating profit, debit, credit, balance sheet, profit and loss, liabilities, expenses, quick ratio, current ratio. So instead of diving into all that, let us again take a step back.
Yes.
Because I want to break that misassumption that people have. Yes, people have this misassumption when it comes to finance and accounting. And of course, I'll be telling you the difference between finance and accounting very soon. But even before that, to all the listeners who are out there, I just want to tell them, finance is simple. Yes, you heard me right. It is simple. It's a common sense subject. I understand that most of you are still skeptical.
A little bit.
Okay, let me justify. You just need to know 4 things. Only 4 things when it comes to business finance. Money comes in, Money goes out, money is supposed to come in, money is supposed to go out. Period.
That's simple. That's good. That's clear.
My expertise is to help people to get on top of these 4 financial transactions at any given point in time, so that they make decisions based on facts and not assumption.
That's really good. It sort of wipes away any sort of emotional connection and any sort of assumption that goes with it. It's either in or it's out, or it's supposed to be in or supposed to be out. So I think that does lift it up to a higher level, so that I think for some people you don't get caught into thinking it's highly complex, or that it needs to be highly complex. So that's really cool.
No, you use the word complex. In fact, I still remember when I went around picking the brains of the best CFOs and accountants to understand.
Yep.
Fortunately, I came across this particular chartered accountant who was not practicing accountant, but he was teaching people on finance management for more than 25 years. And I thought, this is the person who can help me after I read his article. And he said, complexity is simple rules of interaction. I repeat, complexity is simple rules of interaction. And there are only 2 rules in business. Rule number 1, always make more money than you spend. Rule number 2, never forget rule 1. That's it. So to know if a business is making more money than it is spending, we have to know numbers. And as I told you, there are just 4 things that can happen. And where can we find all these numbers? On profit and loss, balance sheet, cash flow. We can get into all those terminology later if you want, but I prefer to stay away from that at this stage.
Yeah, fantastic. So what are some of the things that happen when you work with clients? What are some of the insights that they get after spending some time with you? Because I think, I kind of want to be in the classroom with you right now. So walk me through that kind of experience.
First thing is to break that misconception that finance is beyond my scope of understanding, or I need to be a mathematical genius, or I need to have some kind of a commerce or a finance or an accounting or a bookkeeping education in a university. Guess what? I don't have any financial accounting or bookkeeping experience or education from a university. My learning comes filling in 6 businesses and picking the brains of the best CFOs for the 5 years. The reason I'm saying this is you don't have to have. It's not a mandatory thing. Now, in regards to the question that you just asked, as I told you, I try to emphasize fun in helping people understand finance, and people go fun, finance in the same sentence. Now we don't believe here. So let me help you understand finance by comparing it with the game of football.
Okay.
Now, Sally, do you watch football?
Which football? Soccer or?
Okay, it doesn't matter the shape of the ball. The game where people kick between 2 poles, that's the game I'm talking about.
Okay, for those people who are not watching this in Australia, where we both respectively are sitting right now, there's a bit of sibling rivalry around types of codes of football. So, okay, yes, I follow some codes of football.
Okay, so we have football and we have business.
Okay.
In football, the aim of the game is to score more goals than the opponent.
Yes.
In business, the aim of the game is to make more money than we spend.
Yes.
In football, whenever a player kicks the ball, whenever a player scores a goal, there is someone outside who is scoring it. We call them scorers. In business, whenever a financial transaction happens, and as I told you, there are only 4 types of financial transactions. Money comes in, money goes out, money is supposed to come in, money is supposed to go out.
Yes.
Whenever one of these 4 financial transactions happen, it has to be recorded. It's not an option. And the person who records it, we call them as bookkeepers. Sally, just imagine if the person who is scoring, if they are not scoring the goals properly, will we know whether a team is winning or losing? Similarly, in business, whenever I come across small businesses and when they tell me, oh, my bookkeeper is my neighbors, friends, husbands, wives, dog walkers, whatever, what I'm really concerned is, are they tracking all the financial transaction? If not, how do we know whether a business is making profit or not?
Yes.
Anyway, coming back to the game of football, there is someone called as a referee. What is the role of a referee? To make sure everyone abides by the rules of the game and there is a fair game played.
Yes.
this role is pretty much played by count. They count all the financial transaction and they make sure the business abides by the rules and regulations set by the taxation office.
Yes.
Now, Sally, the football player cannot expect the referee to kick the ball on their behalf. Why is that in business? People in business are so dependent on their accountant to help them make financial decisions. This is where people go, oh, is there a difference between finance and accounting? Yes. Finance starts when accounting ends. Let me come back to the game of football.
Yes.
Whenever a player is about to kick the ball, they know at the back of their mind the score, the time, and accordingly they will decide either to pass the ball to the player next to them or go after the goal. The decision that they are making is based on numbers, based on scoreboard. In business, whenever we are making a business decision, do we know how it is going to impact the bottom line? Or are we just kicking the ball because everyone is kicking the ball? And are we running around the ground because everyone seems to be busy? And that is what finance is all about. And that is what I try to achieve for my clients. Whenever they are making a decision, they should know how it is going to impact the bottom line.
Absolutely.
And sadly, people's decision doesn't matter what role they are playing. And according to me, non-finance manager is a myth. No one should consider them as a non-finance manager. If their decision impacts the bottom line, then they are a finance person. Period.
Yeah, no matter what our actions are, if they impact the bottom line, and most of our actions do, because it's based on the decisions made and the work, the output that's required. So yeah, I really like that distinction, and I think that comparison or the metaphor with sport is really powerful. And I think anyone who's listening to this, and particularly if there are managers who have shied away and leaders who shy away from getting some sort of education around finance and how it impacts them, that metaphor alone, I think, is just gold. Really, really cool. Thank you for sharing that. I really, really appreciate that. And where were you 20 years ago when I needed to hear that? So yeah, thank you. Yeah, I guess do you have any other comments around that? Because I've got one question for you and then we might start to wrap it up. But is there anything else you want to share?
I can elaborate more on that non-finance manager bit. See, the core of finance management is the ability of every employee in the organization to understand the impact of every decision that they're going to make and to make only those decisions that will impact the bottom line. So in other words, they should know if they kick the ball, whether it is helping the business to reach that goal.
Yes.
Now, imagine I'm a salesperson and imagine and I'm selling this pen to you. So I approach you and I say, Sally, I understand you have a lot of team members and this is the best pen. I do all the pitch. And then I say, okay, this pen is worth $10. And you take a good look at the pen and you say, oh, you know what, Chinmay, I need, let's say 100 pens. And you're saying cost of each pen is $10. So in total, it will be $1,000. But our budget is $800, which means now as a salesperson, I have to sell each piece of pen for $8. The decision that I'm going to make, I'll be either saying yes or no, is not just a salesperson's decision. It is a finance decision. Now, when I was working as operations manager in a solar company, we had a warehouse manager. And sometimes he used to order more stock. Every financial quarter, we were asking him, how much stock do we need? How much inventory do we need? The decision that he was making was not just a warehouse manager's decision. It was a finance decision, because sometimes when he was ordering more than that was required, now the money was stuck in form of cash, and in form of inventory, and this was getting us into cash flow issues. Now let us say there is the retail manager, and for some reason this sweater is not being sold. The retail manager will come up with a decision to put 15% or 20% discount. The decision he or she is making is not just a retail manager's decision. It is a finance decision. Now, let us say I'm a HR manager and the employers approach me asking for a rise in salary or for a bonus, the decision that I'm going to make is not just a HR manager's decision, it is a finance decision simply because it is going to impact the bottom line. Same with the admin person. Whenever, this is something that happens in most of the businesses. The top management will ask, okay, for the next financial quarter, how much stationery do we need? And they go around ordering files and papers and pens without even looking at it, because that is what we ordered even last financial quarter. And sometimes I see hundreds of dollars just sitting in form of pens and files. Now, it might be small thing, but these are the small things when you collectively bring everyone on the same page.
Yes.
The big difference on the bottom line.
Oh, I think that just sums it right up for me, because I'm, and you'll appreciate this, I talk about productivity with a lot of my clients, and I'm really passionate about how people actually use their time, or how much they achieve within the time they've got. And one of the things I'm really passionate about is understanding the cost of a meeting. And so, you've really put a neat spin on it. I've got a post that I share quite often around, why does a 1 hour meeting actually cost 6 hours? And so it's, if you've got 6 people in that meeting, it's 6 hourly salaries, or however you want to calculate their pay. But it's more than that. There's a lot of hidden cost. And so even to have a meeting is also a financial decision. So I think we're both on the same page with that, and just not necessarily turning everyone into an accountant and go back to school to learn accountancy, but actually ramp your thinking up and think about, this is not just a pay rise, or this is not just training, or this is not just a quarterly order for stationery. It's actually got that knock-on effect. And I think that knock-on effect thinking is really important. So thank you for that. I really, really value that. Just to wrap it up then, what would be one tip or one action that you would recommend that a manager or a leader take right now that would help them rev up their financial education? And of course, ordering your book, which is, if you can hold up your book again. So the fundamentals of financial statements. So that obviously is something people need to get a hold of. But what would be right now, while they're waiting for that to come in the post, what could they be doing?
So usually whenever I get invited to be a guest speaker at some university to speak to startups, and then they're always asking, so what's the one tip? What's the 3 critical things that you would like to say? And then I usually tell them the one tip that I would like to give is don't look for one tip.
Nice.
But to answer your question, I would say start having conversation with the so-called financial experts in your organization. Go pick their brain. And of course, they might throw all this jargon and terminology simply because that is how they have learned the subject through university, and they think that is the only way. But all you have to make sure is it money coming in, or money going out, or money supposed to come in, or money supposed to go out? And if you are talking to your higher management, to your CFO or other decision makers, ask this question: how will it impact the bottom line? Because that is all they want to hear. And once you show them what is the return on investment, or why is that they have to make the decision, and if you have plan A, plan B, plan C, best case scenario, average case, worst case, it just becomes easy for them. And what we don't realize is that is the language of business, numbers.
Yes.
And once they see that, it becomes easy for them to make decision.
Yeah, for sure. And even if people struggle to be able to find a bottom line based on a number, then that's definitely the time to start talking to the financial experts inside your organisation to say, I really want this to happen, but I don't know how to put the financial case forward. Can we work together? And I think every financial expert that's inside an organisation, if they could hear us promoting that there should be a stronger network between the managers and human resources and department heads and their financial experts, they would just raise a cheer for us. Because I totally agree. I think the strength of an organisation, particularly through any crisis, is the strength of its internal network. And so that includes having that really good relationship, being able to have the backward and forward dialogue with your financial experts, because they're the ones who can help you either justify a case or tell you really, maybe not no, but not now,
Yes.
on certain decisions.
Even just to add one more bit to that,
Yeah.
whenever I meet all these medium to large organizations, and I am with the business owner or the top management, and I emphasize telling that you need to educate your team about basics of finance. And immediately most of the business owners go, oh, Chinmay, I don't want my employees to know how much money I'm making. And I tell them, I'm with you. Your employees should not know how much money you're making, but they should know how your business is making money. So that they know how their decision impacts the bottom line. It all comes down to that.
Yes.
So I just want to add that bit.
Yeah, that's really interesting insight. Thank you. I think that, that'll give people a lot of food for thought. So thank you so much, Chinmay. I know we could talk for about another 4 hours easily, but you've got to use some numbers to get to other meetings. So people can find you at the Finance Academy. So it's all together, financeacademy.com.au. And if you're on Chinmay's website, grab his book. I know one's coming in the mail for me, which I can't wait to grab a hold of and have a read. And thank you so much for your time and for your wisdom, Chinmay.
Thank you once again for having me, Sally. Have a great day.
Thank you. And if you want any more tips, then you can get on to sallyfoley-lewis.com and sign up for the weekly productivity notes, as well as grab a copy of the free Management Success Skills ebook and the Productive Leader white paper. So thank you, and we'll see you again on the next episode of People and Management.